Good evening, fellow creeps, and welcome to another episode here on Creepy with Coffee. I'm Kim, your storyteller. Well, tonight's story is about a heavily pregnant lady. Well, in Malaysia or somewhere around my region, there's a lot of stories involving heavily pregnant women. This is one of it. I'll let you know my opinion at the end of the story. So, if you want to know about what I think of the story, stay tuned until the very end. Like usual, before we get into it, do help me like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for doing so. Now, let's get into the story.
This is Creepy with Coffee.
Late last year, I was about 8 months pregnant. My husband had to attend a 4-day course in Mersing. This is Johor, I believe, and because I was heavily pregnant, he decided to bring me along. He told me to choose the hotel and make the booking. So with all my excitement, I went through Trivago, which is an app. I found this resort, big room, bathtub, swimming pool, and the price was amazingly cheap, 59 ringgit per night. I didn't even think twice. I booked 3 nights immediately. Now, Day 1. We drove from Johor Bahru to Mersing, reaching just after Maghrib. The moment we arrived, we were stunned. The resort was inside the forest, not near the forest, not beside the forest, inside the middle of the forest. We didn't want to believe this was the place that we had booked, but since we had already paid, we decided to just go with it. We checked in. Now, when we get to the room was huge. Bathroom was big and there was a back door. Out of curiosity, I opened the door to look for the swimming pool. The moment I opened it, I could see the swimming pool from afar, but it looked a little bit old, run down, and nothing like the photos. Well, a little bit disappointed, but my husband and I tried to stay cheerful. There were only 2 single beds instead of a queen. But I didn't mind, you see, I was pregnant. Sleeping separately could even be more comfortable. And at night, around 11 p.m., I suddenly felt this sharp, intense pain on my shoulder and lower back. The kind that made me almost cry out. My husband panicked and joked, "Don't tell me you are giving birth here, ah." I couldn't sleep all night. The pain only faded when dawn broke. Day 2. I finally managed to sleep after Subuh and woke up around Johor. I wanted to relax in the bathtub. Well, kampong girl, a little bit excited with the bathtub, right? So I filled the tub and enjoyed myself. Suddenly, the room door was knocked loudly. Many times. Then I heard my husband's voice. "Baby, open the door. I'm back." Thinking it was my husband, I rushed out, opened the door, and no one was there. My husband wasn't back from his course yet. I brushed it off. Maybe I misheard. Maybe the knock came from the next room. I went back to the bathroom to empty the tub and continued my skincare routine at the mirror. Then again, I heard, "Baby, oh baby, open the door." Meow. Exactly how my husband playfully jokes with me because I love cats. I ran to the door again, thinking this time must be my husband. Then, no one. Absolutely no one. You see, the peephole had been covered by the resort using a wooden board. No way to see outside. I'm not sure why they did this. So I started to feel uneasy, but I didn't say anything. Only in the evening did my actual husband, real husband, return. That night, day 2, we chatted for a bit before we both almost fell asleep. The 2 single beds were separated by a small table with a phone in the middle. And then, the room phone rang late at night. I ignored it, and then I think that time my husband is already asleep. An hour later, rang again. Then again. Throughout the entire night. Around 3 a.m., I couldn't take it anymore. I woke my husband. Sayang, you hear the phone or not? Who keeps calling? And my husband answered, I hear it. Just ignore it. So we left it ringing the entire night. Now, come to day 3. In the morning, while my husband got ready for his course, he's supposed to have the 4 days course, right? We discussed about the phone calls. I was angry because I barely slept. I didn't get enough rest, and you see, I'm tired. I'm pregnant. While we were talking about the phone call the night before, suddenly the phone rang again. Both of us immediately stopped talking and stared at the phone. This time, my husband rushed towards it, picked it up and said, Hello? Hello? What's this? No sound. Not even breathing. And that was it. We decided to change rooms immediately. We went to the receptionist. We asked if they had called us last night. And they said, no. But the receptionist lady's face changed. She looked nervous. Without questioning us, she handed us a new key and told us to change rooms right away. I asked, does this happen often? She said, no, never. But she looked like she wasn't telling the truth. Now, before going to the new room, we went back to pack our things. The moment I stepped into the old room again, I felt watched, as if something in the corner looking at us. I ignored it, packed everything quickly and moved downstairs to the new room. My husband left for his course and I was exhausted. Moving rooms while heavily pregnant is no joke. So I lied down to rest. Suddenly, the room door shook violently as if someone pushed it hard from outside. I could even hear the chain lock swung loudly. I got up, went to the door and somehow snapped. Oi! Don't disturb me, I'm heavily pregnant. Have some pity. I went back to bed and called my mother just to distract myself. She asked if anything was wrong. I told her no. After a short conversation, I fell asleep and then I dreamt. I dreamt of 2 women covered in black shawls. This new room had 2 doors, the main entrance and the balcony door. And in my dream, one woman knocked at the main door. Ika, open the door, let me in. I want to be your friend. I didn't know what to do. Obviously, I didn't open the door. Then the second woman knocked on the balcony door. Ika, please open the door. I want to be friends with you. And in a dream, I remember I shouted, Don't disturb me. I don't want to be friends with you. Suddenly, my phone rang. My sister-in-law called me this time. Mama asked me to call you. She feels uneasy. Is everything okay? I woke up, drained, tired. I don't know why. Instinct, I guess, touched my belly. And thank God, baby was still active inside. After another short conversation with my sister-in-law, I slept again. And this time, everything was calm until my husband returned. Later, after we left, we met my husband's friend. Turned out, they already knew about the resort and didn't want to scare us since we had already paid. But they didn't have to tell us anything. We experienced it ourselves. On the drive home, my husband finally admitted something. Well, you see, on the first night when you were in so much pain, I somehow felt uneasy, something strange. I didn't want to tell you, but the thought crossed my mind. What if something was sitting on your shoulders? Is that why you are in so much pain? Well, that's the story for today. What I think about today's story, you see, again, like I mentioned earlier on in the story, around our region, Malaysian, Indonesian, Singaporean, countries around us, there are sayings that mention about these things, supernatural entities, what I meant, like heavily pregnant lady. Not because of the lady, but because of what's inside the lady, the baby. You see, there are stories that we have heard, stories that we have read, talking about sacrifices using fetus. Kids don't have to be born to be sacrificed. These things can take it from inside the womb. There are a lot of, especially coming from Malay culture. The elders would always tell heavily pregnant lady, especially if it's the first newborn, to always take care of themselves. Never stay alone, never sleep late at night, never go out late at night, and always keep sharp or thorny things around the house. Things like scissors, knives, plants around the house like aloe vera, because they believe there are certain entities that would love fetuses, are scared of sharp objects, or even thorny plants like aloe vera, roses, and whatnot. You see, it could be these supernatural entities are around the resort, and a heavily pregnant lady came for a visit. I felt like the supernatural entities is like, hey, jackpot, finally we got somebody that we could disturb. Not sure whether it is exactly for them to consume the fetus or the energy, the fear that they're fed off from a heavily pregnant lady being scared of all these disturbances. Well, like usual, a lot of these stories, more questions than answer. What do you think about this particular story? Have you ever been pregnant and stories like this happen to you? Let us know down below in the comment. That's all for tonight. Thank you for listening, and until the next one, for now, good night.